Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me today. On today's Collection Reflection, we are going to be taking a look at Marvel Legends Jigsaw. And before we can look at the figure, we're gonna look at his packaging. Jigsaw is a criminal with a heart as twisted and gruesome as his once beautiful face. And just like his face, my box is pretty messed up. But we can spin it around, we can get the same image from the back on the side. There's this part of the front, and another picture. And now we can bring the figure back to front and center. And first things first, we have to take a look at this amazing head sculpt that they gave him. This was absolutely the selling point for me. In addition with all the accessories that he comes with, which we'll take a closer look at later. But man, it's like every single detail from the artwork is on this figure's face. You can see all the stitching, all the scars. He's even got some scars in his hairline, as well as on the back of his head. That's amazing. They even like painted the stitches and the wound marks. That's fantastic. Even his eyes, I thought were just poorly painted, but it's actually bloodshot. You can see like veins in his eyes. The teeth are all individually sculpted, and you can even see that they've even picked out some canines and whatnot. I don't own many other Marvel Legends, but this face sculpt has to be one of the best ones out there. And if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. What other figure do you think has a better face sculpt than Jigsaw? Because I might need to buy that one. And if we move away from the face, you can see he's got this metal neck brace. It's a separate piece that is removable. And then we can go to the nice suit that he's got with his little pocket square, and all the buttons are painted. It's a very nice sculpt. I do appreciate this, and like I said, I don't own many other Marvel Legends, so I don't know if this is a reuse from a bunch of different figures, or if this is more unique to him than it seems. But I can say that it does fit his aesthetic very well, and I do like the vibe that he's putting off, like a very sophisticated gentleman serial killer. He almost looks like if Jason Voorhees wanted to go to the prom. We can take a look at his nice black shoes. They've got a nice little shine to them. It almost looks like they're polished. Underneath his white suit, you can see that black tie and a black shirt. It is a rubbery overlay, but it's all one solid piece, it feels like. Like there's no extra articulation underneath. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. So the coat and, I guess, vest are a separate piece from the body. And I feel like they can be removed, but you would have to cut it off of him in order to do so. And that's not something that I'm really feeling like doing. If you have multiple figures with the same body type and you just want to see what's going on under there, I guess you could just cut right here where it's got where the buttons would connect to the shirt, and you could probably just take it off like any other vest. His hands aren't just plain, they got some detail. Looks like either vein detail, or maybe they're trying to do a couple more scars down on his hands, but his hands look pretty normal. They might be reused. And they're actually a very pliable, rubbery material. So it's easy to get all of his accessories in his hands, but it's hard to keep them in his hands because the rubber wants to expand and it gets loose over time. But why don't we take a look at his articulation and see how he moves? His head's going to be on a ball joint, so it's going to be able to turn 360. Oh, there's the ball joint, in case you didn't believe me. It can go back that far, He goes down very far. I really like that. It's got some good tilt to it. His shoulders can go 360. They go out about that far. He's got the bicep swivel 360. He's got a nice double jointed elbow. Wrist swivel. And they're on the vertical hinge. They can move up and down when he's holding his accessories. It's really disappointing when you have like sword wielding characters or even gun wielding characters and all they can do is do the high five hinge wrist. Nobody's ever really won a sword fight by doing this a lot. It's stupid. It seems like he does have an ab crunch, but it's not something that you can really use while he's got this rubbery vest on. He does have a 360 waist swivel. Legs can kick out to 90. And back just a little bit. That's as far as he can get his legs to do the side split because his coat does kind of hinder them a little bit, but not too much. This guy's not an extremely acrobatic character, so that's fine. 360 hip swivel. Double jointed knees. Swivel in the foot. Ankle goes down that far. And back that far. His articulation is pretty great, especially since he has those vertical hinge wrists for all of his weapons. I really appreciate that. How's about we look at his accessories? The amount of accessories and the type of accessories was also a really big selling point for this figure, besides this awesome head sculpt. First up, we can look at his blades that he comes with. They're two identical knives, and you can see there on the sides of them, there's a little chip. At first I thought they were trying to make little serrated blades, but now that I look at it closer, it seems like they're just, it's almost like battle damage. Both knives have black handles and painted silver blades. You can take a closer look at the detail of the handle. So you can hold them in both hands just fine. And if you want to get a little adventurous, you can store them underneath his jacket, but after time the blades might get bent just because of the shape of his body. But both of them can fit up there, and they're not really going to come out unless you take them out. Next up, we have this awesome aluminum bat that he can use to bust up the heads of the people who don't pay their debts. All of his weapons have a very similar color scheme where there's a black handle and a silver aspect to the weapon of some kind. But I really like this baseball bat. And again, I didn't have a baseball bat that would fit with my 6-inch figures. So this is awesome that they included this with him. And it's a very hard plastic, so this isn't bendy and flimsy like many of the other accessories that we might get these days. He also comes with this great looking, very intimidating machete, which again I did not have in my collection, and this is kind of what inspired that thought of Jason Voorhees going to the prom. He feels less like a comic book supervillain and more like a horror movie villain. Almost like he's the guy who kills people and takes part of their face and puts it on his or something like that. Because he wants to be beautiful again. And the last of his weapons, this awesome double-barreled shotgun. And it looks very well done. You can see some of the details it's got on the side there. All of his weapons can fit in either one of his hands pretty easily. but his right hand has the trigger finger specifically for the shotgun. But wait, there's Moa. If you see there at the end of the shotgun, the barrels are hollow, and that's for his last bits of accessories, blast effects, and make it seem like he's firing the shotgun. And you can see when you put them both in to each barrel, they kind of spread apart a little bit, which can be annoying, but it's also a shotgun, so it's kind of supposed to spread out like that. But you can put both in at the same time, and that's what it looks like up close. One of them is a little bit longer than the other one, that way they're kind of staggered when you put them in there. And after he's finished blasting away any unfortunate soul who comes across his path in a dark alley, you get these nice smoke effects to put on his shotgun. And just like with the firing effects, there are two of them, and one of them is a little bit longer, so it's not just the same sculpt twice. And there's what he looks like without his neck brace, with his nice healthy neck. And here's that same neck brace up close. Looks a little bit like Quentin Tarantino at the end of his own movie. Let's check out Jigsaw next to some other figures from our collection. First up, we have him next to some fellow monstrous looking figures. From Spin Master League of Legends, there's Thresh, and from the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, there is King Sphinx. Both of them seem to be taller than Jigsaw at the tops of their foreheads. Here he is next to a couple of other Marvel Legends. There's Thor, the Herald of Thunder, and the Hobgoblin. Jigsaw seems to be roughly the same height as the Hobgoblin. His legs are just a little spread out because he wouldn't want to stand any other way. But Thor is taller than both of them. Here he is next to a couple of other bad guys who are fond of knives. The Batman Who Laughs, and Lord Draken. Jigsaw seems to be a bit taller than both of them. Moving on to a smaller toy line. From the BST AXN, we have Casey Jones and Bebop. Now looking at a even smaller toy line, which is around 3.75 to 4 inches. Here we have DC Spin Masters Solomon Grundy, and Marvel's Retro Black Panther. Solomon Grundy goes about to his diaphragm, and Black Panther is about at his waist. Couple of Frankensteins over there. Here he is next to a couple members from the Final Faction toy line that stands about 4 inches. I've customized both of these characters to give them added articulation. If you're interested in purchasing your very own, head on over to my Instagram and DM me your order, or you can email me at Axunreaxun@gmail.com and let me know what you'd like to buy. And finally, the comparison that we've all been waiting for. Pumpkin Rapper's head. Trick or treat. Thank you. Is this candy? I think this is a wonderful figure, especially if you're like me and didn't own any of these accessories or this body type. And this head sculpt is undeniably incredible. Since he is a Walgreens exclusive, he's probably going to be a little bit pricier on the aftermarket. So if you're not able to pick him up in store for a decent price, then I don't know if I can fully recommend him for anything more than that. If there's any part of this video that you enjoyed, I hope you interact with it in some way. And if you decided that this video wasn't for you, and you want to leave a dislike, that's totally fine. Just please do me the favor, and let me know why. The only way that I'm going to improve and get better is through feedback and making mistakes. So I hope to be better in the next video, and I hope to see you there. Remember to have a chuckle and be nice to somebody. I'll talk to you next time.